5 tips for home buyers who want to make a competitive offer. Hi, I'm Scott Neal, the broker of Scott Neal Real Estate in Richardson, Texas, and we help people buy and sell homes in and around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And it is December 1st today, the last month of 2020. Who knows what's going to happen, but I can tell you this, that right now we have very, very high buyer interest and very, very low inventory, which makes it a seller's market. So if you're a home buyer today in the market and you want to make sure that you're getting the right home at the right price while potentially saving tens of thousands of dollars in unnecessary expenses, then I want to share with you 5 tips of how you can make sure that you get the home of your dreams and beat out the competition. Tip number 1, listen to your real estate agent. If you've hired a real estate agent, hopefully it's not just because you like the person or because they're related to you or because they're your best friend. Hopefully you're working with a real estate agent who has experience working in today's market and can help you navigate a seriously competitive buyer's market. A good real estate agent with a lot of experience will have been through several transactions, and since every transaction is a little bit different, all of that experience can really add up and count when the terms and conditions of your offer could mean the difference between the seller negotiating with you or just putting you to the side and dealing with one of your competitors. So critical to make sure that you've got an expert real estate agent on your side and that you trust them enough to listen to them through the process. Now, ultimately, you're the home buyer, you're the decision maker, you get to pull the trigger, but your agent is there to look out for your best interests and help you win in these competitive offer scenarios. Tip number 2, understand your finances. In fact, we recommend that at least 3 months before you start on your home buying process that you go ahead and get pre-qualified if you're getting a mortgage. And if you're paying cash or some sort of alternative financing, you want to make sure that you have all of that stuff lined up. The worst thing that can happen to you as a buyer is that you get super excited, you get out there, you start shopping for your dream home, you find the right place for you, you get under contract, and 2 or 3 weeks into the process, for some reason, you find out you're declined. Unfortunately, this happens all the time. We experience it with some of our clients, and sometimes we're kind of shocked because the client we thought was a really stand-up person with their finances, but it turns out it just wasn't all that. In fact, I've got a story of my own. You can watch a video here on my channel. It's called My $137 Mistake That Cost Me from Being Able to Buy a Home. One little thing on my credit really cost me the ability to go ahead and get a mortgage, and it's very stupid, but it ended up happening. Now, the reason why you need to know what your finances look like is because there's lots of different things other than, well, I've got the down payment and I've got the credit and I can make the monthly payment. There's so many other things that are involved in you being able to get the best rate possible, and so that you don't overpay for your mortgage, especially if you're taking out a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So understanding your finances is absolutely critical before you get out there and start shopping. And of course, we can help you figure that out, especially if you're paying cash. That's pretty easy. We just want to know if you've got access to it. But if you need to get financing, a lot of things have changed since 2008, 2009, and I know we're still working with people today who have not been in the real estate market since before 2008. Tip number 3, be ready to move quickly. When you're ready to get shopping and get out there to find your next home, you've got to be ready to pull the trigger. Now, this is not a high pressure sales tactic that real estate agents put on you. This is the reality. A lot of times right now when the inventory is super low, days on market is super low as well. And most people like the absolute best house that's out there. And the best homes at the best prices will go fast. And when the inventory is super low, the likelihood that those homes have multiple offers increases substantially. And so a lot of times you won't have the luxury of seeing a home come online, looking at it, dreaming about it for the next couple of days, and then deciding that you want to go see it this weekend because it might not be available by then. A lot of homes right now are receiving 3 or more offers. This is according to the National Association of Realtors. The average home right now is receiving about 2 or 3 offers on it each. And that means that by the time a home comes up for sale, 2 to 3 days later, it might have multiples offers on it, and it might not even be available by the weekend. So you just don't have the luxury to get out there, look at homes, wait, pray about it, get your in-laws to come take a look at it a couple of different times before you finally make a decision. Now, if you're looking at a new build, that might be a little bit different, but if you're playing in the pre-owned space, you don't have the luxury to wait. So act quickly. Tip number 4, make a fair offer. Now, fair is obviously a subjective term, and fair can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Even in the same transaction, fair can mean one thing to the seller, and fair can mean another thing to the buyer. But a fair offer is something that your trusted real estate agent will be able to help you decide. And since we're experts in the market, and I personally have sold hundreds of homes in my career, I have a pretty good bead on what is a fair offer, and I have a pretty good bead on what kind of offer the seller might be willing to take. Just because we're in a super competitive, low inventory market doesn't always mean that you're going to have to pay over asking price. In fact, just a personal story of my own. My wife and I just bought a personal residence. The house just went on the market, and we were actually able to pick it up for several $1,000s below market value. And that's pretty much simply just because I had everything ready to go. I know the market well, and I'm a decent negotiator. And so sometimes you got to pay over asking price. Sometimes you can pick up a home substantially under asking price. It's always a case-by-case basis, but trust your realtor, and they will be able to tell you exactly what you need to do to put your best foot forward to making the best offer that you can make to get that home. And then the final tip, tip number 5, is be a flexible negotiator. You know, sometimes I see people in our market, clients that we work with, whose philosophy is that negotiating means that I win and the other person loses. In fact, some people take that to the extreme, meaning I want to win everything and I want to crush the other person into the ground. Well, let me tell you, the way that you negotiate with people could make them your friend, or it could make them your enemy. And you certainly don't want the person who you want to convince to sell their house to you to be your enemy, because they won't be very fair and they won't be very forgiving when you start asking for things. So be a flexible negotiator. I can tell you this right now, that house that I even got with my wife a little bit, under market, I still paid a little bit more than I really wanted to, but my wife and I, we fell in love with the house. And by the time we started thinking about all the years that we're going to be there, an extra $5,000 in the grand scheme of things just really didn't make sense to sit there and dig our heels in. So we said to each other, we looked and said, hey, is $5,000 over the next 5 to 10 years of us living here, is it worth us paying that $5,000 premium so that we can have the house that we really want over the next 5 to 10 years? The answer for us was yes. So in that instance, we happened to be a little bit more flexible than I really wanted to be. And now we have the home that we really want. The remodel is underway. Check back for another video. We will share with you all the progress. So, bottom line is that if you are a home buyer in today's market, you really need to have a great home buying strategy. And that's where our VIP buyer program comes into handy. So we've got a list of services that, as far as I'm aware, almost no other real estate brokerage in the DFW area offers. We'd love to talk with you about how that can work for you and how we can help you find the right home at the right price while potentially saving you tens of thousands of dollars in unnecessary expenses. So if you're ready to get started finding your next dream home, give us a call at our office. Our number is 469-998-3300. 3322, or you can search all the homes on the market right now at our website, www.mydallashomefinder.com. We look forward to serving you soon. Happy holidays, and we look forward to seeing you next year.